prospective service personnel to be wary of people who approach them to offer them assistance to change their postings. Management will not, and management does not encourage any change of posting.
From Friday, July 7, personnel could access their places of postings through SMS short code system by texting *714 *77# on MTN, Airtel, Tigo and Vodafone.
All right, so we have been joined on the line by the Public Relations Officer for the National Service Scheme, and I would want to put a few questions to him. There are already discussions about the postings on social media and on various platforms. Good evening, Mr. Ambrose Nchiwa, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good evening.
There are those who are asking that what criteria did you use in the postings of service personnel? What were the considerations?
Well, thank you very much. First of all, we will have to put on record that there were a number of factors that were used. It has always been the situation. We put all the prospective service personnel into some categories. One, we look at the course backgrounds of the various service personnel. Then we also look at the carrying capacities of the various regions. So, if for instance we have a Greater Accra region having about 20-something thousand requests, then we look at those who have chosen Greater Accra as their first choice. And then we match the posting with the requests that we have also received from the various user agencies. So we look at that. But of course, there are other considerations, such as our mothers, our sisters, our wives, who are in marriage, who may be pregnant and all that. We look at that one. We look at those with acute health situations. And then we look at our brothers and sisters who are also physically challenged. Now, we put all these things together, and then we match them with the requests that we have received and post people accordingly.
Right. Consistently, the Greater Accra region seems to have dominated in terms of the numbers that they request. What do you think is accounting for this? Because the Upper East and Upper West also consistently seem to have the least of requests. What is accounting for this?
That is correct. You see, most of our requests that we receive, especially from the private sector, have come from Greater Accra region. You would agree with me that most of the industries and companies are in Greater Accra, followed by Ashanti region, before you come to Eastern region and other areas, such as maybe Western region, Central region, and all that. Yes, for Upper West, Upper East, you can just count the number of institutions or companies on your fingertips. And that is why majority of the requests are coming from these two regions, where service personnel also posted to have the numbers always swelling up.
Okay. I mean, year in, year out, there are complaints of people declining or rejecting where they've been posted to, some because of the distance, others because of logistical challenges. And, you know, over the years, there are some that, because of that, some even start their services 6 months into the period. What measures have you put in place to ensure that at least people readily accept their postings and follow through with it?
The first thing that we have done is that the acting executive director in his release appealed to the service personnel to take this as a national court duty. I appealed to all Ghanaians, parents, everybody to ensure that we convince our young people to accept posting, because this is sacrifice. You know, we are doing some kind of patriotic work for the country. That's the first thing. And secondly, we've also directed our regional and district directors to assist service personnel who have been posted outside their homes, using the services of our user agencies and the MMDAs, that's the Metropolitan Municipal and District Assemblies, the district chief executives, opinion leaders, chiefs, pastors, head teachers, and all that, to try and assist in getting the service person to settle down. Now, sometimes there is this fear of the unknown. People do not know what is on the other side. and therefore they will be a bit reluctant to accept the postings to those places. But we have tried to assure them that there are people there who are ready to receive them and help them to settle down to do their national service. Of course, let's understand that it's not that easy for somebody who has lived all his life in Accra, leaving the parents to some other areas that he or she does not even know at all. But what is important is that we want to give them the assurance that these are, services that we are going to render to Mother Ghana, and it's important that people go and do these services just for 1 year and then come back.
What we've also gathered is that following government's initiative, that's a Planting for Food and Jobs, the Service Secretariat is putting a specific number of personnel to go into this specific sector. Based on that, we are told that every district in the country is getting 10 service personnel. What is expected of them when they go, and what would they be doing?
Yeah, you put it rightly. The Planting for Food and Jobs is the vision of His Excellency the President. Now, for the National Service Scheme as a state institution, we are committed in ensuring that we post people into that area. Like you have rightly said, 10 people in each district. Total, we have 2,160 people posted for that program. Now, what they are expected to do is to get into agri programs to give them the interest in agriculture and agro-businesses. Now, somebody has said, I know that those in agriculture have always said that it is one area that nobody is going to ask you any question and talk about corruption, because you have grown the plants, you have sold them, and it's your business, it's yours. Right. Now, the important thing is that all these young people will be interested in agriculture, so that when they finish, they will not be going around looking for jobs, because now they are planted for food and also have employed themselves. Now, it's also important for us not to forget that the policy itself is tailored to ensure that certain things are provided, like fertilizers and other farm inputs, for these young people to go into full-time agriculture as a career occupation, so that in lieu of getting white-collar jobs, these young people can go into full-time agriculture while they employ themselves and also produce food for consumption for the country, and even possibly to export them. So definitely, once we have all these people going into this area, then we are targeting the policy to ensure that it succeeds in our sector of the economy, i.e. the National Service Scheme.
Okay, and my last but one question to you would have to do with allowances. Since this year, the government promised to increase the allowances, which has actually taken place. What is the assurance you are giving to those who are yet to start that they are going to be having a consistent release of the allowance and on time, especially those who are going to the hinterlands? Yeah,
we normally will have our budget approved by Parliament, and this is what we have had already. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to pay the allowance, the 559 from April. So we have a budget up to December, and hopefully when we present our budget for the next year, we'll get government to approve through Parliament. The money is there. We have assured them since last year, when they started national service, that the allowances will no longer delay. The system we are using now, that's the payment of an allowance through the e-switch platform, has been very effective.
Right.
And therefore, the issue of possible payment to people who are non-existent has been eliminated. So now we are dealing with real numbers, and we are sure that for the fact that we have paid them from September last year up to now without any hitches, we will continue up to the end of the year, and hopefully next year we'll not have that. So let's give them the assurance. Let them just get assurance that allowances will be released. And I'm sure every service person now will attest to the fact that we do not delay in payment of allowance. As I speak with you now, we have paid allowance for June.
For June.
Either two allowances were delaying for 2-3 months and even more. Okay. Now, right at the end of the month, latest by the following week, in the next month, we pay allowances. So that is a thing of the past.
Okay. And in conclusion, we realize you've employed some technology in getting service personnel to know their postings even before they go to the registry points. what is accounting for this, and what is that short code that they can text to get the information required?
Yeah, again, when the Executive Director, Honorable Mustafa Yusuf, was delivering his address, he did explain that over the years we have gone through some processes to ensure that we improve upon our modus operandi, to also ensure that service persons each year will have some kind of innovation. The idea is to make it easier for them to access their postings. I remember in the 1980s, 1990s, people will have to travel all the way to Accra. Everybody will have to go to Accra to check the posting. Now we have come a very long way. The idea is to ensure that if you are even in your home, your bedroom, without going to the internet cafe, you can just pick your phone and access your posting even before the time is up for you to go and print out the appointment letter. There is always anxiety for people to know where they are being posted to, and that is why we have introduced this new mode of checking the posting. So people can now text to the code that we have given on the networks that have also been announced to check their postings before the date given for them to go online and print their posting, and then go to the various registration centers across the country to register. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much. I would certainly be calling on you again when the registration starts on Monday. But we're grateful that you made time to speak with us. Ambrose Nchiwa is the Head of Public Relations for the National Service Secretariat. So if you're watching us right now, you're a service personnel, pick your phones and then text your code to the short code *714*77#. *714*77#. It's on MTN, Tigo, Airtel, and Vodafone. All these networks allow for you to get to know your postings even before Monday when registration begins across the country. This is still News at 10 on TV3. We'll be back with more. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. This is still News at 10 on TV3. Let's go to Parliament now. The Member of Parliament for Nabdam, Dr. Mark Kurt Nawan, wants government to commit more resources to ensure an uninterrupted implementation of the family planning program. He made the statement on as the world marked World Population Day, which falls on Monday, July 11.
Family planning is prioritized as a key strategy for addressing critical socioeconomic issues in the country. Available statistics indicate a sluggish performance in the family planning programming. The use of oral contraceptives almost doubled from 13% to 22% between 1988 and 2014. However, contraceptive prevalence rate fluctuated from 19% in 2003, decreasing to 17% in 2008, and increasing to 22% in 2014. Presenting a statement on the World Population Day on Monday, July 11, Member for Nabdam, Dr. Mark Kurt Nawani, was concerned at the rate of progress.
Since faith, religious beliefs, and cultural practices also influence family planning, we need to explore culturally sensitive approaches for the different populations.
He wants government to commit more resources to ensure uninterrupted implementation of the family planning program.
Our country, Ghana, needs an integrated and coordinated family planning program, starting with a critical assessment of the strategies that work, setting of realistic targets to facilitate the effective implementation of the family planning program to achieve an increase in contraceptive prevalence rate.
Other members contributed to the statement.
There was a recent TV news, TV3, on one Togbe Asiedu from the Eastern region who has over 100 children. And at 80, he's still planning to have more. This is the perceptions that we have that is making family planning very, very difficult as a nation. I would therefore encourage
that we as a government will set aside a sizable amount of money to ensure that we educate our women to exercise family planning.
In another statement, members called on the government to explore Ghana's bauxite reserves and invest the proceeds into providing meaningful employment for the youth.
The underutilization of our resources can be cited as one of the causes of unemployment.
The problem is cheap power. If we can make that decision and all accept that the need to create jobs, create a quantum leap in industrialization is so critical that we must dedicate our hydro to vacuum. Mr. Speaker, that will be a key.
Now, the 12 labor unions are to petition the Speaker and leadership of Parliament next week to explain why they have allowed the Finance Minister to use the 2017 budget to amend Act 766 of the Pensions Act. In the budget, the Minister of Finance insisted on supervising pension contributions, but the Pensions Act 766 gives the sole mandate to the Minister of Employment and Labor Relations.
On Tuesday, July 4, the 12 labor unions at their news conference called on the Minister of Finance to back down on his decision to supervise pension contributions. The unions cited Section 13 of the Pensions Act 766, which solely mandates the Employment and Labor Relations Minister to do so. However, in the 2017 budget statement, the Minister of Finance indicated plans to control and supervise the contributions. 3 days after the news conference, the 12 labor unions have threatened to petition the Speaker and leadership of Parliament on the matter.
We are going to write to the Speaker of Parliament. We're also going to write to the minority and majority leader, because this budget statement was presented to Parliament, and we didn't hear anybody question how come you are amending an act with a budget statement. There are a lot of answers that has to be answered, and so that's the first step we're going to take. Based on responses that we'll get from Parliament, then we'll know the next action to take.
The chairman of the unions, Isaac Bampuado, again insisted that they will proceed to the Supreme Court if Parliament fails to act.
If we are not satisfied, then obviously we'll talk to our lawyers, and then we'll then take the legal step, because already we are aware the SNID board has been sworn in, and it was sworn in by the Minister of Finance. The previous board was sworn in by the then Minister for Employment, Haruna Idrisu.
Meanwhile, the unions have requested government to initiate the process of paying their 18 months arrears on the second-tier pension scheme.
Now, the Foreign Affairs Minister, Shirley Ayeko-Bochwe, says the ministry will not tolerate ineptitude and bad behavior from officers at Ghana's various embassies. She regretted actions of officers at post at the various Ghana embassies have deterred Ghanaians in the diaspora from accessing their services.
The minister was responding to questions on the third day of the Diasporan Summit in Accra. She said the ministry is putting measures in place to ensure the embassies can respond swiftly to Ghanaians in the diaspora. In line with the current policies, officers at the various embassies will be retrained.
What we have decided to do, and it's still at the consideration stage, is to ensure that all our officers are retrained in customer service. Otherwise, we will continue to have these complaints, and these are very legitimate concerns.
She hinted the ministry and its partners will soon come out with a list of Ghanaians living abroad to ensure better coordination.
Take the UK, for instance. Most people in the UK who are undocumented than those who are documented, and most of them do not want to be known officially because they have suspicions that maybe if there is a list of where they are in terms of their address and who they are, would be to their disadvantage.
Otiku Afisa Jaba as Gender and Social Protection Minister.
Children hawking is an indicator that all is not well in Ghana and that we have a lot of work to do. It's still part of people abusing the law. There is a law in Ghana from the Children's Act 560 that a child of school-going age who is not in school, the parents commit an offense, or the carers. People do not know that there is a fine of 500 Ghana cedis or 1 year imprisonment or both. And we need to send that message out. We have a lot of policies to protect children, but the enforcement is lacking.
The Ghana Diaspora Homecoming Summit is a conference organized by government to establish relationships with the diasporan community. The summit aims to harness capital for development purposes by encouraging Ghanaians abroad to invest in Ghana.
And that will be it for the bulletin. It came your way from our studio here at Adesawe. My name is Martin Asiedu-Dartey. Thank you very much for watching. There is more news on our website, 3news.com. Do have a pleasant evening. Enjoy the weekend. Bye for now.